Morning. Let's start with the goaltender, Jonathan Bernier, 3 years, $9 million. Seems like a good move by me. Talk about what he adds to the team.
Well, obviously, we're trying to stabilize the goaltending position. Jimmy Howard's going into the last year of his deal. Jimmy's 34 years of age. We're trying to compete. Stoney, you and I have talked here over the last little while. We're trying to rebuild. We're trying to go with kids, but while we're doing that, we need to compete, at least be competitive. And I think the first place you want to start is in net. So hoping that with Jimmy Howard and Jonathan Bernier, we can have a good 1-2 punch in net and have some depth.
You're talking about being competitive, going through a rebuild. A lot of people, myself included, have questions about the other two. Let's address Mike Green. Obviously, he still can play 2 years.
We lost Ken for a second.
Oh.
We'll have to get it back up. I don't know why you made him so mad right away, Stoney.
No, I didn't. We like the Bernier move. Come on.
Yeah, you start off with the softball.
Well, what the? Are you starting to rip me here?
No.
All right. He's on? All right. Kenny's back with us.
I lost you.
That's okay. I want to ask you about Mike Green. To me and others, 2 years, $5.5 a year, with a no-trade clause, going through the rebuild, like you said. How does that make, sense to us? Educate me.
Well, I don't know that we've got any defensemen that are ready to step in and play 24 minutes against the other team's best players. I think to put Hronek and Cholowski in that situation, that's not player development. That's going to hurt their careers. So this is a 2-year deal. He's 33 years of age in a league that's big on skating. That's his strongest asset. He can go back and he can get the puck. He can get it moved forward. He wants to be here. And I think he played 23:40, 23:50 a night, almost 24 minutes a night. So I think that with a 2-year contract, it gives the young defensemen that we've got in the organization more time to develop, and hoping that one of those young defensemen could be on the team this year. And as we go forward, more of them are going to show up.
Hey, Ken, I think a lot of the fans are wondering with the new signings are bringing guys back of Vanek and, of course, Mike Green. Especially with Vanek, what does that mean for guys like Rasmussen and Zadina? I know a lot of fans want to see the young guys. I think you know that, but does some of the veterans that you brought back, does that block in any way some of the younger guys?
Well, I don't think so. First off, Rasmussen's either going to play center or left wing. Vanek shoots right, probably plays right wing. Zadina shoots left, but he also can play right wing. I think what Thomas Vanek does is, what I was impressed with when we had him is not only his ability to score, his ability to create scoring chances. Obviously, it depends on the line matchups, the way the lines are put together. Hopefully, he's going to spend lots of time this winter playing on a line with some young players and helping them have success, create some scoring chances. At the same time, we need to be better on the power play. And that's an area where he can help.
Do you think with these acquisitions, you're looking at this as, all right, maybe we can sneak into a playoff spot, or is this just something that you want these guys to tutor the young guys?
Well, I think tutor the young guys and again compete. I think. What does compete mean? Compete means going to the rink every night and you got a chance to win. You might not win, but you got a chance to win. You can't go to the rink and know that before the game's going to even start that you have no chance of being involved in any kind of a hockey game. And the kids lose their confidence. It's a negative environment. People lose their confidence and go backwards. We're trying to bring in some veteran players on short term that we think. We had Thomas Vanek. We liked him in the locker room. The coach likes him. He fit in good in the locker room. The young players looked up to him. Mike Green wants to be here. Jonathan Bernier, we did a check-in. He's a really good citizen, works hard every day in practice, is a good teammate. So we're trying to have that locker room with some veteran players, but at the same time, obviously the young players. It's ongoing. I mean, Dylan Larkin last year played, 18, 19 minutes, and Anthony Mantha played a lot of minutes. And at the end of the day, we traded Thomas Tatar to create a space for Tyler Bertuzzi. So it's going on. It's happening. but it doesn't happen fast when you're dealing with young players and you're waiting for them to carry the torch and lead the franchise to glory. It's a process, and it takes some time. And unless you get those players like Steve Eisenman at 19 years of age or 20 years of age that can just step in, those players are few and far between. Most players take steps and they take time, and they got to go from one part of their career to another part of their career. But we're going to give the Zadinas, the Rasmussens, the Chalowskis, the Heronics, the Svechnikovs, I don't know who else you want to mention. We're going to go into training camp, and we're going to give them an opportunity to make the team. And if they can knock somebody in the box, then they're going to play.
Ken Holland joins us on the Troy Laser Hotline. Why the no trade clauses for both Vanek and Green?
Well, then you don't sign them.
So they wouldn't have signed without that, really?
No.
Okay.
I mean, Stoney, Thomas Vanek signed a one-year contract.
Right, I know.
Like you're talking about, and at the end of the day, when you get into, last year at the trade deadline, Mike Green did have a no trade. He waived the no trade for me to go to two different teams.
Right.
So I don't really know what it really means, but certainly it was important to those players to have some control in their life at this stage of their career. And when I'm getting 1- and 2-year deals and I'm getting minimal term, a negotiation, as you know, you've got an agent, you've got a contract there. It's got to fit. Both sides have got to be happy.
Yeah, I understand, but you did such a good job of getting something for Vanek the first time. That's probably why I thought, you'd be able to do it again.
No, but what I'm saying is, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
What a no trade means to me is the player has some control.
Okay. Right. If there's a cup-winning team that wants Thomas Vanek, chances are he would waive the clause.
What I was saying is, last year Mike Green had a no trade, but I went to Mike Green. Unfortunately, he got hurt, and then when he got hurt, everything went away. But prior to that, I was working with him. I was working with his agent. He had signed off early, like a month in advance or 3 weeks in advance of the trade deadline, to go to one team, and as one other team surfaced, I went to him, and he was I think he was in the process of giving me the green light to go to the other team, and then down he went. So I think there's a lot of focus on no trades, but at the end of the day, when you work with what it means to me is that the player isn't just going to be going somewhere. He's going to have some input. If that's the stage of where you're at, he'll have some input.
Hey, Ken, I'm curious about two guys. Number one, Henrik Zetterberg. What do you know about him for the upcoming season? Will he play, and how many more years will he play, you think? And then number two, Gus Nyquist, expiring contract after this year. How difficult, or will you try to, deal Gus Nyquist so you can get something for him?
I'm not sure what's going on with Henrik Zetterberg. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk in the media about Henrik. He's got 3 years to go on his contract. If he's healthy, he's played, I think, 82 games a year for the last 3 years. So he's obviously got everybody's aware that he had back surgery in 2014, and he's 37 years of age, and sure, like all players, he wants to make sure that when his career is over, he's going to be healthy and going to be able to lead a life and do all the things that he wants to do. So as we speak right now, I'm expecting to see him back, but again, for the reasons I just laid out to you, I'm not 100% sure what's going on with Gustav Nyquist. Obviously, he is going into the last year of the contract. Let's get to training camp and let's see where we're at.
What about after the CU? Obviously, a restricted free agent. Do you assume he'll be back, or it won't be as contentious as last year, would it?
Well, I mean, obviously, he's a restricted free agent, so barring that he wants to go to. I mean, obviously, there was rumors last August that he was going to go play in Europe, and barring that if he wants to play in the National Hockey League in the 18-19 season, obviously, because he's a restricted free agent, we control. The situation. Obviously, he's got arbitration rights. He did not have arbitration rights last year. We're in the arbitration period now that he can file for arbitration, and if a player files then the club can determine whether it wants to have a 1 or a 2-year award. So I've had a number of conversations with Darren Ferris's agent over the last 2 weeks, and we'll see what transpires here over the next few days.
Last thing for me, the developmental camp over the weekend. I just saw some videos. I didn't get a chance to go down there, but glowing reports of Zadina, Valeno, Giovanni Smith looked really good. I'm told you have to be happy for what you saw over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Stoney, it's going to take some time. I mean, I think we have lots of good young kids. It's just now certainly the focus is on Zadina and Rasmussen. They played real well. I'm looking forward to getting to training camp and the rookie tournament and seeing how they compete how they look at the rookie tournament against sort of their peer group. And then they're both going to play lots of preseason games. And then obviously we got to make a decision on October 3rd or 4th whenever we got to put our list in. But we've had lots of draft picks the last couple of years. I think our scouts, I believe our scouts have done a real good job at the draft. We got some players coming. It's just going to take a little bit of time.
Hey, Ken, is the realistic, I guess, year that you really think that this team can kind of get back on track and compete? Is it maybe 2021? There's so many contracts that come off at the end of this year, at the off of next year. Some of the younger kids will obviously mature. You'll get some draft picks in the middle there. I mean, is it 2021? If you could put a date on it, when you kind of think that go for big free agents and kind of get back in the thing, do you think?
Well, I'm not going to really put a date. I mean, I guess I would say to you, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do what I believe is right in the rebuild of a franchise. I'm not going to cut corners. I think it's important to have, you and I have talked about blockers, these veteran guys. I think it's important to try to have your young players get opportunity, play with veteran players, but at the same time they got to be challenged and they've got to compete on an everyday basis. And you're shooting for 2021. I don't believe in entitlement, and I think if we entitle the organization, if we entitle our young players, they're not going to fully develop. So I don't have a year for you. Certainly, I believe we're in the right direction. We got lots of young kids. We got an extra second-round pick in 2019. A good, 4 or 5 of our forwards are under 24 years of age now, and they're really starting to carry the team in Larkin and Manfred. Bertuzzi's coming in there. You got Athanasiou, and if you move in another couple of young forwards, we're going to have half our forward group is going to be relatively young. So I don't have a time frame for you. I believe we're headed in the right direction. I want to compete this year. I want us to be competitive. I want to go into the game so that our young players understand and are playing with veteran players, and they understand how hard it is to win and what we've got to do to win. We're going to try to do this as quickly as possible.
Kenny, thanks as always. We really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your summer.
Thanks so much, Ken.
Thank you. Thanks.
That's Ken Holland, the general manager of your Detroit Red Wings.